What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of War of the Visions. Today I wanted to talk about equipment as a mid-tier player. So let's get started with MR equipment. One of the things I hear a lot from people is, oh, I don't have the best equipment, I don't have the best vision cards. And granted, yes, if you're going for PvP, you want to be at the max of that. But when it comes to PvE content such as raids or tower or like let's say the Brutal Quest or anything in this game, I don't really think that you need to have maxed out equipment or maxed out vision cards. What I use as a mid-tier player is basically +3, +4 stuff, and that's usually at either level 30 or level 40 because I don't really want to get it to level 50 without getting it to +5. The one piece of, well, actually two, so the two pieces of weaponry that I have at level 5 +5 are the KelThaFunkee and the Nagnarok. Now, I believe most of us should have a Nagnarok, and I believe most people should have two. I did not start playing until after that first Nagnarok event passed. Actually, I might have started, but I was very casual and all I did was log in and get my free stuff. So I only have one Nagnarok so far. So let's just get into it. This KelThaFunkee here that I have, I don't want to say I literally just built it, but I built it kind of recently and I really haven't taken that much advantage of it. If we click into it here, you can see that my attack on this is nowhere near maxed. And actually, I think I actually forgot to put seals into this. So I definitely feel the need to reset this. Actually, I might just even look at here and see, if I hammer it out, that's probably enough attack power. I could probably get, all these other stats to max, to close to max. So, maybe that's worth doing, but in all honesty, I haven't really needed to do that. I haven't felt the need to do that, so I'm just gonna leave it right there as it is. What I do feel the need for is just to have another gun, because at this point I have multiple gunners, and I just got Luartha, I have been maxing Frederica, so I've had to use either Mustario's gun, or I believe someone else has a TMR gun. It's slipping my mind right now, but that's kind of my issue right now. Is if I need to use a team of gunners or a team of slashers, a specific team of the same type, I end up needing other equipment. So to me, I've kind of realized that I'd almost rather have 2 +4s at 40 or 2 +3s at 30 or whatever it may be that you are able to grind out, because at least that way I feel like, hey, I have multiple teammates that can use it. A perfect example here is the Platinum Rod +4. I was able to get this to +4, and I believe I do have enough to get it to +5. So if we go into crafting real quick, I definitely have enough recipes to do it. I don't know if I have enough books to also to do it and then awaken a brand new platinum rod all the way up to level 50. So right now, as it is, it's been much more useful for me to keep the +4s at level 40, and as I'm starting to build up more magic users, I have KelThaFunkee now, I have Salir, I have Medina. So just having the 2 platinum rods has been very helpful to me. And even still, like, I know even +4 level 40 sounds like a lot, but in all honesty, one is definitely way better than the other one. So this one is 123 and this one's 115. Maybe not way better, but the chances of you getting a low roll are pretty high. So, I think you're probably going to do pretty fine with a +30. Now, let's go back. The Armor of Light, I was very grateful to have my friend help me with it. It's probably, I believe this was actually my first +5 piece of equipment ever. So, but even looking at it now, the stats, I mean, the spirit is pretty good, but overall, like, I'm not really sure if this is really the best armor anymore. Granted, this is still one of my main armors that I use. So, I think that's definitely something that you kind of don't really have to kill yourself to get, like, the craziest armor. Here's another piece of armor. This to me was kind of really easy to farm because it was the Final Fantasy IV event. That lasted for a long time, so I kind of just played a lot of this. I believe I actually have enough to make enough recipes at least to make 2 +5s. But I was really focused on getting the Mithril because Mithril was one of the materials needed for Laswell's weapon, the Purple Lightning. So I kind of ended up just getting a lot of this recipe. But as you can see, it's got 1 more defense than my Armor of Light. So it's not even like anything crazy. I've been using this and it's been fine. It has some missile attack resistance, and that's basically when I specifically equip this, when I need missile attack resistance. So it's been serving me pretty well. I think I'm doing pretty well with that one. Golden Blade +4. I recently just built this because there's the event going on with the Agitator EX2. And honestly, when the Golden Blade first came out, there's a few different Golden Blade events at this point. And I was like, I don't need a Golden Blade. I don't really have a double-handed user. So for the first, whatever, probably like 5 or 6 times that this event ran, I just never built it. So now, during Christmas, I pulled Christmas Ramada, and what ended up happening is I'm like, oh, wow, I actually need a 2-handed sword now. So I ended up, now that, this event here, I ended up just I came up with a free-to-play team for you guys. You guys saw it in in one of my other videos. And then I just ran my UR version of that. And I pretty much ran it until I had, now if we go into recipes, you can't really see it because it's a +4. But if you go into recipes, I have plenty of recipes. And I'm trying to make a second one if possible. So it really, I get it. It takes a long time to run these things. But now with the Brutal Quest, if you can figure out an auto team, you can run that very easily and you don't have to worry about it that much, so, but even still, going back to my point, I don't think I even need the +4. The +3 was working just fine. I'm basically just building up higher just so I can get even more attacks, so I could like start one-shotting things and sort of finishing things off easier. But in terms of being able to beat content, like brutal content, stuff like that, I've been able to do it without that much of it. Okay, granted, yes, when Tower's out, when I'm playing Tower took me forever to get through, but I think that was more of an issue of setting time aside. It was really, the last Tower came after like a raid, and it was just like, there was just so much going on at that time that it was really hard to put time into Tower because I was so focused on everything else. But I did find it, was able to find enough time to go into the Tower and eventually get through it. Like, I had enough of an equipment level to be able to get through it. I was not restricted by, not having a +5. And it's crazy because you think like, you have it at level 40 and not at level 50, that should make an even bigger difference because it's not +5 and it's not +50. But with the level 40 +4, with 30 +3, I was able to get through a lot of this stuff. So Lohengrin is another one I'm kind of working on. I had all the recipes from before, but I still need some materials. I'm kind of working on it. And of course, the biggest bottleneck for me has always been the secret books. So in addition to farming the recipes, then you have to spend a whole crap ton of time farming books. I get it, it's really annoying, but in the meantime, since I have not been able to do any of the book farming, I will try to, that's kind of what I've been trying to focus on, the last couple of weeks is book farming. And in the meantime, the plus 440 is going to work for me. I haven't specifically used the Lohengrin for content, but that's going to be it. The killer bow is another one. I was lucky enough to pull Nivlu for the Siren Raid, and I had, actually wanted to get 2 killer bows, but I ended up with enough recipes for a plus 5 and a plus 4. But I really only got the killer bow to plus 4. And during that raid, I kind of realized hey, people have their rooms and they kind of just ask for something okay, you bring your Nivlu, you do double shot. And there's going to be either Nivlu or Frederica doing double shot. And I didn't really need the extra stats of this bow to do anything, because since everyone was doing double shot, we were just all chaining off of each other and just doing massive damage. So it didn't even matter that my bow wasn't plus 5. It's not like people kicked me out of the room for not having a plus 5, So that's something that's kind of just been the theme. So actually here's where there's a big difference is between my Ice Lance plus 4 here. As you can see, it's 73 attack, which is actually pretty low. And then if you look at my plus 3, it's got 75 attack. So why is my level 30 equipment, why does it have 2 more attack than my level 40 equipment? So I think the point at what I'm getting at is you don't really need to have everything maxed out. There's a lot of times where I actually just use the N level equipment, and I use that to kind of just level up weapon proficiency. But if I don't have another copy of the MR equipment, what am I going to use? I just use the normal because it's easy to level up to level 30. You don't have to awaken it. The restriction is that it only goes up to level 30, but you don't have to awaken it. So it's kind of the trade-off. Do you want to spend your books on, SR and R equipment, or do you just want to use normal equipment? I kind of just use normal equipment. Granted, I'm at the point where I have, my 2 platinum rods and my 2 ice lances, so I don't necessarily need to use the normal equipment anymore. And so I kind of started at the MR equipment, but also if we go back, let's say for spears, actually let's go into the TMR slot. So if we just look at spears specifically, I have Lorenzo's spear, right? So right off the bat, Lorenzo's spear, his TMR spear, 114 attack, and it's maxed. That's attack-wise, that's better than the Ice Lance plus 4 that I have. And this lance right here is Ramada's lance. Granted, is not as strong as Lorenzo's lance, but again, 99. That's still higher attack than the plus 4 Ice Lance that I have. So if you think of it that way, you have other opportunities. Aside from having the maxed out piece of equipment, you have other opportunities for equipment that you can use that is at least usable, that you don't have to use the worst equipment. Now, there's stuff here that I'm still working on. The Dark Gloves plus 3, they are being super generous by giving us the plus 3, as long as you have, the Dark team or, the Fire team for the Kaiser Knuckles. There's been, different elements so far. There's been a light one, a fire one, a water one. And for most of them, you've been able to use a companion. So as long as you can accomplish that, you have yourself a plus 3 level 30 here. And look, it's the same. It's 79 attack as my plus 4 level 40 Ice Lance, right? For this one, 62 magic, maybe not the greatest. They gave me a critical, so the critical is not going to have as much magic growth as the magic. So as soon as I make my other, I believe I have enough recipes at this point, but as soon as I make my own +3, I'll make that one magic, and I'll just combine it with this one and make it magic. So once I get it to level 40, it's going to be way better than this. Alright, so the Prunus Lacerna, another one. I haven't really been focusing on building this, but compared to my Platinum Rod, it's just about the same. And actually, is that... do I have 3 Platinum Rods? Oh, I just have these 2, I guess. So, 123, 115, and 60. Alright, 60 is a huge difference. I'm not going to lie about that. But, let's see, 150 max and 162 max. So, I mean, they're just about the same. If I was to put, like, if I was to start putting a little bit more effort into this, then yeah, I could get it to be a little bit stronger. But even looking at the bonuses, light attack up and lightning attack up and magic attack up 5, that might not be better than the Platinum Rod, but it's already at least getting there. So, you know, you have these options. As long as you're willing to work a little bit, like a +3 is pretty good. And the difference between a +3 and a +4 is pretty big. The difference between a +5 and a +4 is like huge. So if I think if you can make a +3 of something, that is actually not that hard. You only need 15 recipes, which nowadays you get the +3 for free, but nowadays you get like a few recipes built into the quest anyway, aside from the +3. So you should be able to run this like a few times, and then a few times, many times, you know, you might spend like a day running them, get yourself like 15 recipes. That might take you 2 to 3 days if you're like casual, but like aiming for a +3 is not even that bad. Even if you leave it at level 30, you might want to upgrade it to level 50 at a +3. That's fine. And usually I don't spend my seals until I'm at +5. So if you want it to be like, you know, if you recognize in yourself that you don't have a lot of time to play this game, maybe you'll be happy with a +3, you know, use your seals on that, and then even awaken it to level 50. So granted, you'll be missing out on some of the bonuses like the magic attack plus, but honestly, I don't think you really need that for PvE all that much. All right, continuing onward, the Coral Sword, another great sword. I myself don't have Orlandu, so the first time it ran, I was like, I'm just gonna get like 16 of these and just worry about it later. It ended up, well, actually for that one, it ended up the drop rate was pretty low. So I saw some other people getting them, and I was just like, maybe I'll try a little harder. But I didn't even end up building it, to be honest. Like, it's here at +3. I did build that myself, but I do have the recipes. But at this point, I don't have Orlandu. I don't have Ravies built up. So it's just like, you know, I'll just leave it alone. Same thing with the Platinum Mace. I kind of, right now, I feel like for the Platinum Mace, I do want to build it, but I do also have the Healing Mace somewhere. And I think at this point, like the Platinum Mace, I don't have enough recipes for, but I do have enough recipes for the Healing Mace. So I might actually just build that one. But right now, I'm actually running Eldira with this +2 Platinum Mace. And you guys see my video, I use Eldira for, like, now that I have her at 89, I've been using her for some of these missions. And granted, she could definitely be doing a lot more damage, but the utility of Eldira is so good because she can heal and she can do AoE. So even though she's not doing like max damage, even if she's doing half damage to, you know, 4 or 5 enemies, that's essentially like doing, you know, 4 times damage divided by 2. So you're still doing 2 times damage, essentially. So, and then you have the bonus healing on top of that. So it's just like, you know, there's other ways you can sort of be effective without necessarily having to have the max equipment. So I think you guys get my point at this point. I do have, like, let's say the Mage Masher. Some of this equipment, I have all the recipes that I need, but I just kind of leave it alone because, first of all, I don't really have my Venera maxed or anything, so I haven't really been using the Mage Masher. I mean, I guess I use it with Vistral, but he's not really like a damage dealer, so, you know, a lot of the other stuff here, the Ice Brand, the Mangosh, the, you know, is just kind of here. And I don't really end up using it that much. So the other kind of side of my argument here is vision cards. So real quickly, I'm just going to go through these, and you can see my UR vision cards. I do have the Demon Wall maxed out. However, when it comes to other UR vision cards, most of them I have at 2-star level 70, which again, it did take some effort to get them to that point, and some, you know, some luck with the summons and all. But honestly, in terms of PvE, what I have has served me pretty well. The MR stuff, I know I have a lot more MR stuff maxed, so that has definitely helped me. But again, it's MR. You don't really need like maxed out UR to play this game and to enjoy this game. I've been enjoying this game a lot. Even I've been doing some PvP stuff, like I do my arena, I do my class matches. I think I just reached gold in class matches. I don't really know for sure. And arena, I usually rank in the 8,000s, but I don't really spend energy on that. So I guess my point in what I'm trying to say with that is the vision cards, don't get me wrong, they do help you. They help you a lot, immensely, especially the MR cards. Like, think of the MR cards as what you target first, and then kind of then specifically when you need specific, you know, attack up, you need slash up, you need piercing, then go for those focus on those UR vision cards. And I found that in terms of doing well in class matches versus doing well in arena, it hasn't been a matter of what equipment I have. It's more so of, you know, having the right synergy for your team. It's more so of picking the right matchups. It's more so a matter of actually doing your class matches and not just autoing them. Because at first I was just autoing just to see, oh, just get me to the top of bronze or whatever. Come on, team, you can do it. But then even I realized that at some point, you know, when you have those promotion matches, you kind of have to win twice in a row or 2 out of 3. So what ends up happening is you'll win 1 and you'll lose 2, and it's just like, oh. So I just basically started paying attention to, okay, you know, this vision card doesn't really work for the whole team. It works for the one character, but not for the whole team. So it's kind of a matter of picking the vision cards and the espers that work for your whole team, making a team. Like, if you're gonna go with a gunner, maybe you want all 3 gunners so they could take advantage of the missile attack vision card. So you got to think of things like that. You have to kind of make your team work well with itself. So as an example, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this very quickly, but for the class matches, what I've been doing is I've been using this Pierce team, right? So, okay, yes, I get it. It's Kane, it's Glaciella, 2 great UR units, but the 3rd unit is an MR. You're restricted to 2 MRs and 2 URs and 1 MR going by the cost. So what I tried to do is use stuff that helps the whole team. So as an example here, we have the Espers. Lorenzo's not the greatest with twin-headed dragon. I get that, but at least he gets the attack. The Dragon Killer he has it as part of his TMR, but you know, in PvP, Dragon Killer is not really worth it, which is on the 2-headed dragon. That's what I have. But in terms of vision cards, what do I have? I have the Demon Wall for piercing attack. Of course, if you don't have Demon Wall, you can use the Glaciella card for piercing attack. I have the attack up card, which I could turn to Vow of Love. I could turn to, something else that gives attack. And then I have the unit resistance, because I'm thinking if I'm playing class match manually, I'm probably gonna make it so that my units don't bunch up. So I think unit attack resistance is a little bit more useful than area attack resistance. That's just me. But even if you look at my armor here, this golden armor is at a +3. I'm using Glaciella's armor, which is like, it's decent, but it's not the best. And I'm using Armor of Light on Lorenzo, which if I'm facing a physical team, that doesn't really help Lorenzo all that much. And as you can see, these are the same Ice Lances that I mentioned before. One is 73 and one is 75. So I'm not doing anything crazy here. What I'm doing is basically, to me, where the strategy comes in is, okay, how do you position your team, and how do you buff your team and stuff like that. So for Kayn, I'll just use Bells. I know Kayn is basically my attacker in this group, so I'll use Bells, and I know how to use Kayn because I was in that raid, and like I just kind of learned what are his main attacks. So I kind of know Kayn, so I put Bells on Kayn because his attacks are what I need. I will lower piercing resistance. I will slow people with the LB. I will brain piercer if I could get into the right position. Same with Glaciella. I kind of know her attacks. I give her own armor, which gives her like a little bit of a boost in AP. I get in there and I do leap strike. I do whatever does a distance attack, whatever does a lineup attack, surefire burst, the 100%. So I kind of think about all that stuff. And honestly, I didn't really think about it that much in terms of setting this up. But as I played more and more matches, I'm like, oh, Glaciella has surefire burst. So if I'm going up against an invasion team, let me try to, preserve Glaciella so that she can at least get the surefire burst off and, do a 100% accurate attack. Lorenzo here, he doesn't always do the greatest, but he has haste. I put him on time mage. He has haste. What I end up doing is I haste the other two, or I even have him haste himself. So I haste him and then I haste the other two, and then they kind of just figure out, okay, now that they're taking a little bit more turns, they can do more attacks, get more AP, and do bigger damage because of that. Lorenzo, in terms of attacking, he does end up getting to attack every so often, but as an MR unit, I'm basically using him as support. Granted, he has won me matches by landing a good dragon dive or a good jump in general, but because, again, this is another thing to think about. Lorenzo, as an MR unit, maybe his damage isn't that strong, but he has fast cast, which allows him to jump a lot faster than normal. And I can go on and on about my team specifically, but there's so many bonuses that you get from certain characters that you can figure into your team. So that's just something to think about. I know I kind of sound like I'm mad at ranting or whatever, but I feel like just a little bit of thinking could get you further than what you think you can make it. Just a little bit of manually doing some stuff instead of just letting it run on auto, that will get you somewhere. All right, I've gone on for enough. So what I'm gonna do today is, actually, I reached max. I just picked up my last shard for Seymour, so I'm going to get him to max LB right here for you guys. So check that out. Boom, limit break 5. And full trust mastery. There we go, screenshot. And one thing left to do after that is to do my summons. So for you guys, I will do let's start off with the 10 times summon. and hopefully we could get something good here. So silver book, not bad, and mostly blue stuff. So we're just gonna fly through this stuff. I hope something upgrades. If not, we have our MR unit at the end. There we go. Barbaro, I'm kind of done with that. Kind of an old card, so hopefully you guys are done with that too. And will it upgrade or no? There we go. That's awesome. So we have a unit here. Please howl it. KelThaFunkee. Actually have her maxed, so at least I get Mog medals for that. And one last thing to do here is the MR plus summon. So I'll go with that. And we have a fake gold book. So our unit is in slot 1. What do we get? Sir O. Okay, it's not bad. I'll skip the rest. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this video wasn't too like naggy, but I kind of just wanted to go over what I was doing in terms of my equipment stuff. So thank you guys for watching again, and drop any comments if you guys think I am much more than a mid-tier player. I consider myself mid-tier at this point. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.